Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm Sean's Mapping or the Sultanate Empire, and in today's video we are going to be continuing What If Civilization Started Over, episode 20. Let's get right in today's video. Let's get right into today's video. Jeepus Creepus. You guys have no idea, right, before we get into it, one more thing before we get into it. You guys have no idea how long it took me to do the sound for this recording. Like you have no clue, bruv. You have no clue. Like it took me so dang long to do the sound for this recording. Like the sound kept messing up and all of this and all of that. And I was like, just so much, so much, so much. Anyways, let's get into the video before I get sidetracked and end up rambling on for like hours. We are going to start today's video off with some expansion. We will be seeing my friend Branch do some minor expansion into the Persian regions of this area right over here. There we go. He's going to get all of this land right here. Even that up there. We are then going to see the Arabian Empire do some more expansion as well. They will be taking all of this land along the coast. Meanwhile, we will be seeing these guys expand into this area. Taking all of that. Now, my friend Branch, who controls India right down here, he is going to be forming an alliance with a couple of countries. Let us look at what countries my friend Branch will be forming an alliance with. It will be popping onto the screen in 3, 2, and 1. And alrighty, here we are, back with all of Branch's brand new friends down here with the Taiwanese, up here with the Persian country, and then also up here with this country as well. All of these countries were the only countries that Branch could go to. Sorry, English is hard sometimes. And have them join his alliance that he was creating. Let us pop over to now over up in Europe with the continuing of the European Great War. And alrighty, here we are over up in Europe. We will see the continuance of the European Great War, where the Italians will continue pushing into. Oh, excuse me. The Italians will continue pushing into Ender and also Eastern Germany, but they will eventually stop as Ender comes to the table with a deal where they sign a ceasefire agreement between one another and basically focus in on the French, who are to them their primary enemy. So after taking all of these lands right over here, and also seizing this major city right here from the French, they make a deal with Ender's forces and also Ender himself for forming an alliance. Now, seeing that his two primary enemies have formed an alliance against him, he now seeing his two enemies form an alliance against him, that is the French, of course, the French seeing his two primary enemies forming an alliance together, he goes to some other countries to try and find help and allies. So we will look at the alliance layer shortly after, as Italy is not the only ally that Ender will be getting in this war. So let us zoom out and look at this greater area and see what countries are joining this war on what sides. First off, we will be having the Finnish, if you remember the Nordic Union from or the or Finland. Basically, they went to war with Ender, they kind of lost. So now look at it like this: we have the French, we have, I believe that is Slovenia, Serbia, the Aegean, of course the French, and then the Finnish versus Ender, Italy, Moldova, this Turkish country right down here. This is the current standing alliances within the war, and each side will now be gaining help, and also all of these other countries will be joining in on this war as well. Now, let us zoom in to one of the primary front lines, and one of those primary front lines is down here over in the Italian area. Now, with the Serbs and this country joining in this war, the Italians have to redirect some of their troops from the border over here to go deal with this country over here, as they were just preparing for war with Italy. Now, all of the Yugoslavian countries like Ender. They don't like Ender for making a deal with the Italians, who they absolutely despise and hate. So they will quickly join, well, some of them will join, not all, will quickly join in on a chance to jump the Italians. I almost said the French. They will always jump on a chance to try and kick the butt of the Italians, trying to stay family friendly. Keyword trying. But they will take lands that the French will take lands that look something like this after doing a very good pushback. They even capture two major cities of the Italians. Meanwhile, this country, since the Italians didn't have any troops on this border, will quickly make moves after joining the alliance and joining the war. They quickly go into this area right on down here, like so, pushing into this area right here, forcing the Italians back in these two northern areas, because of course, technically they are encircled, because the freaking mountains, the mountains are here. There are mountains there. So we do see the French using this development to actually commence English an encirclement of Italian troops up in this area, and they use this to their advantage as they quickly take over all of this Italian area right over here, with the secondary Italian area kind of just getting absorbed into Ender's military forces for the time being, as they have nowhere else to go and they can't go back, without trying to push through a bunch of troops. So we will just see this pocket get back brought under Ender's control. Let us go down over to Africa, down here, as this front will also see developments as well. It's a little too far. So we're going to be looking right over here with the developments in Europe and also with the developments in Africa, or with countries joining. We will see the Italians lose land over here in the African regions as they begin to get pushed back like so. Just like that. As the French are able to push them back down to the border in the south, but in the north they hold a fairly strong defense. But that might not last long, as the Serbs, who also have a front with the Italians on two sides, that's of course in mainland Europe and then also down here in Africa. But you see, the Serbs pull a underhanded tactic, and they drag in this this Central African country, which honestly it's in the middle of the Sahara. They don't have much population. They don't even have that big of a military. But the Serbs find it they'll be a useful distraction. They'll also be a useful key to helping them win this war. So they quickly push into these areas right over here, alongside French and Serbian troops, looking something and taking something like that. Let's head over to too far to this area right over here, as the Aegean, looking for a chance for vengeance, quickly pushes in on this country. And I mean, the Aegean is a lot stronger than this green one right here. The only reason this green one was able to gain independence was because the Aegean was fighting two independent uh, movements and two rebel groups at the same time. But all of their major cities are quickly seized by Aegean forces. But Crimean forces, after crossing the Black Sea, arrive and stop the Aegean advances. Now you might be wondering, why isn't anyone dealing with the Serbian mainland? Well, that is because of some certain things. The Italians have given the Greeks a little bit more of an autonomy. They gave the Greeks a little more autonomy, which is a terrible idea. I'll say that right now. Giving the Greeks autonomy was a terrible idea by on the part of Benito, my friend, who is controlling Italy. Terrible idea to give the Greeks autonomy. As soon as they do, they begin getting funded by French troops in terms of weapon training and money, and they quickly rebel like they did the last time they were controlled by a foreign power. So we do see them quickly pop up in all of these areas, like so. And I mean, for right now, the alliance of Elravia or Eldinia, which is Ender's country, whichever one you want to call it, or even just Ender's country, does seem to be losing for now. But as we all know, war is never something that is predictable. Anything can happen in war, and many things can change a war. So we will see this rebellion pop up right here. And the Italians are too busy dealing with said rebellion to even try and invade the Serbian homeland. Ender, well, he can't deal with the Serbian homeland due to the fact that if he moves troops from over here, he will begin to lose the front. And also, the fact that the Nordic Union, or Finland, is involved in this war once again, poses a threat to Ender once again, as their involvement adds another major power to the war. As this puppet state of Ender's quickly falls over to the Nordic Union, and rebels do pop up, and the puppet state does declare its own independence from Ender because this puppet state was more aligned with the Nordic Union when they were independent, and that independence or that movement of alignment to the Finnish or the Nordic Union, whichever one you want to call them, is still a majority within the country. But essentially, Ender cannot move forces from his front lines. Otherwise, that will result in catastrophic pushback from both sides because he is facing a major power on two major powers within Europe, one that is the Finnish and two that is the French, with the French being a lot stronger than the Finnish. And then the Crimeans or the Moldovans, because that's where their capital is. Their capital is in Moldova, can't really do anything against the Serb mainland due to the fact that they need to focus all of their troops down here in helping this country beat the Aegean. Because if the Aegean beats this country, they will quickly begin sending support to the rebels, making landings within Greece, and eventually end up helping Serbia, which isn't good. And uh, Bulgaria right here is just kind of watching this all go down and watching this all happen, and they're just like, yeah, no. They're just like, yep, no, we're good. We are good. We'll keep our neutrality. You know, we prefer our neutrality over your senseless war. But the Balkans are once again thrown into a major war amongst themselves as they begin to fight each other once more, like they did in previous centuries and previous years, aka previous episodes. Go check them out if you haven't already. Suggest you do. But that is what we see happening here in the war of, well, the Great War of Europe, and even involving some African countries as well, and some rebels too. But not all is bad in the world, as we'll be seeing some countries pop up over here in Russia and some expansion from, well, not expansion, just countries popping up in this area. So let's look at it in three, two, and one. Here we are with the new countries popping up here in the Russian area of Eastern Europe. Now, all of these countries popped up towards the, or not popped up, all of these people started leaving the countries as soon as more countries started leaving their countries as soon as their country started joining this major war, and they kind of, want their own peaceful living without war or drafted into a war or losing their loved ones, what and whatnot into these areas. So most of these people actually came from either Ender or the Finnish, with some people coming up from Moldova, but not a lot, primarily from Ender or the Finnish, with their people not really wanting to be a part of all of that's going on over there. But this is all for today's episode. I suggest you go down. It is a suggestion. You don't got to do it. You go down beneath the video. If you liked it, you can hit that like button. Give it a good old thumbs up. If you didn't, you can just give it a thumbs down if you want. It's up to you, your choice. If you enjoy my content and what I do, I suggest you go check out my friend Ender M. He is an amazing YouTuber. He does the same thing I do, and in my professional opinion, slightly better than me. Um, and yeah, just go check him out if you like what I do. If you also like what I do, I suggest you hit that like button down beneath the video, right next to the dislike and like button. And then you hit that bell notification icon so that you can be notified anytime I upload a new video to my channel or make a new post onto my channel about stuff. Stick around until the next video. I'm John's Mapping, or the Sultanate Empire, and I hope you guys, ladies or gentlemen, wherever you may be, wherever you may live, enjoy the rest of your day or night, and I'll see y'all in the next video. See ya!